Okay, I want to discuss something a little bit out of the road, so to speak, compared to what I usually talk about when I talk about nutrition and training science. I received copies of a brand new series of books related to Vince Gironda. For those of you who don't know who Vince Gironda was a master bodybuilding trainer in the 60s and the 70s. He opened up his gym in Studio City, California. I believe it was around 1948. Vince trained many, many bodybuilding champions of the 60s, including the first Mr. Olympia, Larry Scott, Don Howarth, who won the 19, I believe it was 66, if I remember correctly, IFBB Mr. America. Endless number of champions, bodybuilding champions, came from Vince's gym. Why was he successful? Because Vince was what they call an avant-garde trainer. He was literally years ahead of anybody when it came to bodybuilding knowledge. I know this because I myself trained under Vince from 1969 to 1970. I'm sorry, 68 to 69. As soon as I arrived in California in 1968, I made a beeline right to Vince's gym. My first meeting with Vince is described in the books I'm about to show you. I trained under Vince's guidance for a year. But before that, even when I was living in New York as a teenager, following Vince's training principles and dietary advice, I just completely transformed my body into to the point where I became a teenage bodybuilding champion in 2 years, just from following his advice. I believe that Vince's advice is so advanced that it'll work for anybody, regardless of genetics, and it's especially appropriate for those of you who are so-called natural bodybuilders who don't want to resort to any type of anabolic drug. Using Vince's training principles will bring out the best physique you can possibly build. Of course, the extent of your success in bodybuilding is also largely based on genetics, but using Vince's dietary and training principles, I believe, will produce the best results of anybody else. Nobody, in my estimation, since Vince has exceeded his, let's say, knowledge of training and dietary principles. I mean, science has greatly accelerated since Vince's days, but Vince's principles are as useful today as they were back in the 60s and 70s. So with that in mind, I just want to show you these books, which these are these books. It's called Vince's Secret Locker, and this is a volume. This is a volume one enhanced edition. Enhanced edition is another enhanced edition. Here they are here, and they're available from vinceslocker.com. And I can tell you that these books, they're 1,074 pages combined. They have training info, they have routines, they have the training history, including a lot about Vince himself, a lot of Q&As. It has hundreds of rare photos that I've never even seen, and I've seen a lot of photos of Vince. It has tremendous, beautiful artwork by over 20 different artists. In short, this is the definitive Vince Gironda information compendium. I don't think anything that's ever been published about Vince even comes close to exceeding. I mean, look at the size of these books. I mean, they're like telephone books. I mean, they're really thick. They're really well done. I mean, if you read these books, you will learn a tremendous amount of information. And full disclosure, in case you're wondering, I don't get a penny of profit from these books. I'm doing it because I truly believe in Vince's information. I think it would be helpful to just about everybody who's involved in bodybuilding or fitness. And that's my motivation for doing this video, because, again, this is the most definitive collection of Vince's writings and teachings. I mean, it has every flyer that Vince used to give out in his gym. He used to have these little flyers that he'd give out containing diet training tips. They're all in these books. It's invaluable. These things that would normally be lost to history, but now they're available. So, it's worth an investment for any of you who really want solid, really proven training principles and dietary techniques that work. I strongly advise that you buy these books. Again, Vince's Secret Locker. Here they are. Here they are. There's Vince on the cover. And again, it's vinceslocker.com. So, buy these books and take care.